Alrighty. Well, let's get this started, everybody. How is everybody doing? Welcome back to the Meshup podcast, where we talk all things AI, 3D creation, and the future of digital worlds. I'm your host, Nova Ray, with my co host, Tara. And today we got a really exciting guest joining us. Today we are joined by TC Poole, creator who works across music. He's got some world building tools, VR worlds, games, and even storytelling. Someone who's building entire connected universes across a lot of multiple mediums. So, TC, without further ado, really glad to have you here. I'd love to start by just letting you introduce yourself. Just tell us a bit about who you are, what you're working on, and everything you've been building lately. I know that's kind of loaded, but you could take it as you will.
Yeah, right on. And hey, everyone, and thanks for having me. This is a really cool opportunity to talk about AI and not be like extremely judged or a lot of shade thrown at you. I like Meshi in the Discord and this podcast for that reason. Uh, Before I get started about me a little bit, is it Novare or Novare? I
It's
have to
it's
understand the.
whichever one you want, to be honest, at the end of the day. People say
Hmm.
Novare, Novair.
What did you want?
At
What
first
did
I
you
started
intend?
at first I started with like Novare, but then I heard other people pronounce it differently, and I'm like, you know what? It might be one of those like pronounce it however you want. It's at the end of the day, it's just like it sounds cool either way with any
Ah.
pronunciation.
Yeah, very true, very true. And it's Terra as well. It's Terra over there, or Tyra.
I'm so sorry, but it's kind of the same thing. This name started on a role-playing server for a fantasy character, and it's a German
I see.
server, and I don't want to force anyone to say Taira. So
Oh, I mean,
so most
Tyra.
people say Terra, and I think that sounds fine. So
Terra. All right. Well, yeah, nice to meet y'all officially.
Likewise.
So yeah, I'm TC Poole. I started 3D development about 2022. I'm a longtime musician, lifelong musician. That's what I was doing before 2020 when the world kind of went crazy there. And during that time, when the world shut down, I, like a lot of other musicians, started streaming, but I didn't know really anything about OBS or 3D development or anything like that. And one thing led to another, and it's led me down this road of kind of bringing all this lore I had growing up as a kid, just make believing and pretending with your friends, and making it come to a reality. And finding Meshi was like a complete game changer for me because I'm able to create these custom assets that really, really fit my wacky world of Funkatron, it's called.
Sorry, and can I note that Funkatron is just like such a badass name? Like it's so
Thanks.
simple,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like so like, it's just like it fits like uniqueness and coolness at the same time. Funkatron. I like it. I just wanted to say that. I know I told you that, but I really do like it.
Thanks. Yeah, a lot of the names and a lot of the lore of this world that I'm bringing to life is a lot like Spaceballs or Monty Python. So it's kind of like tongue in cheek, Lord of the Rings style. And the name Funkatron comes from the old '90s game Toe Jam and Earl. That's where their planet was. And so
Oh,
it's kind of there's a
yeah.
lot of throwbacks to the olden days, to a time long ago called the '80s and '90s. Anyway.
Vintage. Vintage.
Vintage, exactly. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of Funkatron in that.
How much, or let me ask you just a couple questions before we get like before you like walk us through like your journey and your projects and all that. What originally like sparked your interest in doing this?
I'm not sure. I've just always been a kind of a creative, artistic fellow. I really like to devote myself to something grand in a big project that seems insurmountable. It seems like I'm going to fail at this and it might not succeed, whatever. It might not get a lot of users or something, but I love just burning that fire into the night against the darkness of potential failure. But it's like my own epic quest, and I don't know. It's unbelievably fulfilling to me. It's hard to describe.
When did you like discover Meshi?
Oh yeah, it must have been just last year. Just kind of cruising on Twitter. I'm chronically online, like a lot of anybody doing
I'm
web
the same way. I'm the
development.
same way.
So I think it was last year, just kind of cruising through Twitter and the or X, and the algorithm puts you in front of me, and I was like, oh wait, we can do this. Not only can we create images with AI and all this other stuff, but now people are doing 3D modeling. because it was just like went hand in hand for a solo developer like me. Meshy and these tools like or AI tools like Meshy are just so it seems like the universe brought them together for me personally. That's how you like how much I utilize them and how much I value them.
I remember whenever I first started hearing and seeing about like 3D image to 3D or stuff like that when AI was being introduced to 3D. It was just crazy because, yeah, you did see it first in like images and stuff, and then everybody could do it. But because I guess because it wasn't just like incorporated in like Chat GPT and things like that. But there is like
Mhm.
good tools, and I do think Meshi is one of the more popular ones, one of the more effective ones, I think. And are you using AI a lot? Like, is it a lot? Like, how much percentage would you say is like is in your workflow? Like, do you use it 100%, 50, all that stuff? And do you see it more as a like a collaborator or a tool or something else?
Oh man, I talk to AI more than I do humans these days. Like, and it's not even 50-50. You know what I'm saying? It's like
100%.
it. I, I wake up. I mean, it's such an incredible tool for a creative, you know, possibly slightly ADHD autistic person like me that likes to just
Yeah.
work in an insane amount on multiple things at a time and just yeah, I use it from sun up to sundown. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm at the desk working, talking. I use ChatGPT, Claude, I mean, all the heavy hitters I'm in there with.
Dude,
Except, no, there's one I don't use. I think it's Codex, but I'll get around to it.
do you use Gemini?
Yes,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm with you there.
It's
I'm with
so,
you there. I
oh
would
my
have
God.
never seen this like 5 year or 5, 6 years ago,
Yeah.
where it's just like, damn, like I never saw it coming. I never saw something like this coming.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I agree 100% that like you do seem, I personally seem to, and just like you said, I feel that I talk to AI more as well for
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
like for just like life, for help, for assistance in things, curiosity, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I had something wrong with my cat the other day. It had
Yeah.
the physical illness, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to, I don't want to get on Reddit for that. I don't want to Google that. So I go to why not use a tool that can just scour the wasteland of the internet for me way better than I can, way faster than I can, and will ever be able to. Phew,
To
it's
follow up.
something I don't,
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
I feel like it's not going to ever revert to. I don't ever foresee a time where I won't want to be using a tool like AI, whether it's LLMs, image generation, music generation, voice generation.
You mentioned like before all this, you were super into music. You were making music and stuff. Do you now use like AI music tools like Suno and stuff like that, or do you just do more digital stuff now when it comes to music?
So yeah, I do use Suno. It's absolutely incredible. And I'm before the before the pandemic and before I started streaming and doing all this Funkatron development stuff, I taught music at a private music school. I'm a lifelong musician, so I was deep in the music game. So that might lead one to believe that I'm very anti-Suno. And there's still open discussion, and I don't have the answer on like all the oh my gosh the AI ethics and everything. But I love using Suno. One of the things I brought to Funkatron is like its own radio station where I play a DJ and then create songs with Suno, but I like
Mhm.
pre-record them as it's just like a radio, like my own Fallout radio or GTA
Love
radio.
that.
I can make it all about my like my own personal lore and my own all these characters and creations that I really deeply care about. I can continue to tie everything together to make Funkatron feel really lived in. And I get to voice a DJ. I use 11 Labs to voice the
Oh,
to change my
nice.
voice for that. Hmm.
Nice. Love that. Let me just ask you one more thing before we get started. What would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when as you were building, everything that you have built and everything that you have dipped your feet in? What would you say would be the biggest challenge?
Technique wise, it's probably animation. I'm really just bad at that, and I haven't made myself really sit down and do that. But more overall, it's just the willingness to devote one's life to something. And I do a lot of I sometimes I pause and I'm like, man, am I spending my time wisely? And then I think back to the long journey I've been on, and I'm like, heck yeah, I gotta keep going. So there's the moments of doubt and just trying to keep going with it all.
And can I ask you, Is there like a centerpiece? So it's a world building undertaking from what I gather, but is there some kind of like a game at the center or a pen and paper game? I feel those are the two things that would be sort of obvious.
Right. At this point, there's a lot of mini games built within this. I've built and created over 230 cards that have kind of make-believe rules like, you have to sing a silly song if you play this card and then deal 2 damage. It's like Magic the Gathering, but Spaceballs, and it's using AI image generation and kind of just balancing and critiquing the game as we go along. A lot of browser games now, and as far as like an actual, it more feels like an RPG type experience. Before I started doing any web development, I was working in Unity, building out Funkatron as VR chat worlds. But every new world, quote unquote, as they call them in VR chat, was just another place on Funkatron. Go ahead.
No, I was just humming in agreement. Cool
Right.
idea.
Understood. So there's a lot of Funkatron on VR chat. For those unfamiliar, VR chat is a free to play game. It's more a platform for people to create virtual environments. And it's VR, of course, it's VR as implied by the name, but you can also experience on PC. You don't need a VR headset, and you can build virtual worlds there. Other than that, there's the newspaper that I've created. I've used image generation to kind of create a funny newspaper that you can flip through. You can do like an RPG 2D. It's almost like Secret of Mana, retro SNES style RPG where you're walking around the map of Funkatron. And I plan on building just more and more and more mini games. I mean, the way that you can vibe code now, I can sit and vibe code, in one shot a Funkatron style Pac-Man. And so what you could do with that is like get the Funkatron themed Pac-Man, take that, put that into 3.js, and then build an arcade with your Pac-Man playable in a 3D environment all on a web browser. And you don't even have to download it.
That's that's very unique. Normally, when people have a big vision in a world like that, everyone else I talk to either is making a Final Fantasy sized computer game or writing a rule set for a pen and paper thing that'll take 2 years. So yeah, that approach I feel like will lend itself very well to the to the times and the tools.
I like Anthrothia said in the chat there, Spaceballs the Gathering. That's very good. I sure thought of that.
Well, TC, I mean, if you want to start, start when like sharing your screen and stuff like that. I'm just excited. I want everybody to see
Yeah,
what you have.
let me do this here. Mhm. Oh, wonderful. So, behold the world of Funkatron. No, this is one of the world tools that I built when I was a few years ago. I was building in Unity, and I'm all self-taught at this, so I'm really behind on things, and I don't really know a lot about. I'm not a pro in any regard as far as I'm a pro musician, and I can teach that stuff, but 3D development and all this stuff, I'm kind of self-taught and still learning. So when I was building in VR chat and bringing Funkatron to life, there was this one time where I put a sphere up in the sky and the stars, and I was on the spaceship in VR chat, and I figured out how to wrap my map around a sphere and put it in the sky. And as simple as that sounds to me now that I've been along the journey for a few years, at that
I
moment
was
it was
gonna ask,
such.
how did you do that?
Oh, in Unity specifically.
Yeah, like roughly. I mean, there's a few techniques I'm interested in.
Yes, so create in Unity, you would just create a 3D object and select sphere, and then drag your texture over
Oh yeah,
to
no,
the.
I mean, how do you get a rectangular texture to map correctly to a sphere?
Ah, excellent question. So I had to learn the hard way that my map originally was more of a 1:1 ratio, aspect ratio. And I had to go with equal, I had to expand the map to equal rectangular to minimize the warping at the poles. There's still minimal warping now, but it's no more warping than you see on the regular map of the Earth that we all look at.
I see.
I've had users of these tools ask if I could look into getting other kind of formats of maps of which I'm ignorant of. There's a ton of them, by the way, on how to map onto this globe, but I haven't really dedicated the time to do that.
Yeah, it's an
Yes,
interesting problem.
I
Basically, you
in
made a pretty wide texture.
Yes. And okay, so
minimize.
let's do something a little cheeky here. I know we're looking a lot. Let's turn it to flat. And now we'll go to unlit. And we'll try to shed a little light on this. So this is the flat map, okay? Yes, yes, yes. So what I did to
I see.
minimize distortion is I made the nothing up here of interest. Yes, I put big polar ice caps. Yes. So now only the distortion really starts right here, and it's very minimal through the middle third, middle fourth of the map. Yes. So yeah, so I was wrapping that my map onto Unity back in, I don't know what it was, 2022 or something like that, and looking up at it was a really, really big moment for me. Seeing my world that I had cared about for years and years come to life in an actual game. I mean, being able to do this all on my own was really like a cool, yeah, like let's go type moment for me. Over the years, I brought this to like a web browser tool like you're seeing, but then made them public for other people to easily not have to go through the process of learning how to do this in Unity or any other kind of 3D engine, but just be able to go online and throw your own map up there and have that aha moment. Because I'll never forget that moment of staring up at Funkatron and being like, oh my gosh, that's my planet. How crazy. I'm looking for the satellite. There it is. Hey. This is a Meshi satellite, KPP 101. The Quiet Storm. This is Funkatron's radio station that I was talking about earlier. And now instead of having to go, like I've said previously, scour the internet or buy assets or whatnot, or look through free graveyard assets, I can just make them through Meshi and make it look, you know.
That is such a cool looking satellite. It
Pretty
looks
cool,
so
yeah.
interesting.
I kind of build this all for myself, so if I like it, then it's good to go. I think it looks really, really good. I'm blown away that I can just sit and make assets like this when just 2 years ago I was, spending so much more time bringing something like this to life. That's beautiful, man. A great sun. Yeah, that's a completely vibe-coded sun. There's various parameters of control. If you're ever building web tools like this, and your vibe coding, I strongly recommend using again and again and again the phrase various parameters of control. Give me various parameters of control over the sun. Give me various parameters of control over this, and you will get a lot of customization. Yeah, this is called the WorldForge 3D, and it's just a free web tool. Anybody can go there. Sorry, I started rambling and got off track. Did I?
No,
did
you're
I get
good.
the
You're
question?
good. Is that tool that you just said, is that to make the custom planet skin and stuff?
Yeah, well, you have to come here with your own map. I don't have a map maker.
Okay.
Well, not released right now. So, let's say you're using any of the free map makers out there, like Incarnate or something like this, or just building your own in Photoshop or something. You can come here and wrap your image around. You could literally just come here with an image of your face and wrap it around this globe, and then have planet your face.
Not self-centered if you do that.
No,
You just love yourself.
no. Well, I'm making statues with Meshi of my character, so the Funkatron is a little self-centered. I'm like a stone statue of myself as my character. But yeah, this is one of the use cases of Meshi that I have.
Beautiful.
Shall I go on to another?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's see here. General. So let's take the idea of spinning a globe and world building, or bringing your world to life, and make it a multiplayer endeavor, was my thought after I built the WorldForge. So I came up with this tool. Let me reload it real quick. Called a Community Forge. All right. So what this is a community-like experience where you can create a room after this hashtag. This one's called General. And let's say you have a D&D party and you want to have a collaborative world building experience. We could all right now come in here and start dropping these lore pins. A lore pin is just a little point of entrance where you get a title and you click on it and you can write about this, write about that, whatever your lore is about. So after I built the lore pins thing, I was like, wait. I'm making all these Meshi models. Why don't I let users pin 3D models? So not only can you have a pin and create multiple pins, you can select from a long list of 3D models, many of which are Meshi created models. This is another Meshi model. So it just, for me, it makes Funkatron come alive even more on a personal note. It's just like, oh my gosh, now I can, it's just, I get overwhelmed still when I kind of bring myself to thinking about the possibilities of what and how much work I have to do. I got to put a lot more stuff in here. So bringing the 3D models from that I make with Meshi to this community world building world type experience. The name's extremely concise and compact. That's another where I hit my punchline button. It really makes me happy to hear people excited about AI. Yes, Kairius, Akara. Me too. That's one of the things, like I said, and how I led in with the Meshi is I like that I can come to this Discord and listen to this podcast and even have the privilege of talking on this podcast and not have to worry about AI hate or just, hateful people. Yeah. It's so cool. I can just come into the Discord and be like, yo, hey, what's up? And I have to,
It's like a weird time we live in, right? It's like
it's
like
so
AI
strange. It's like when the television was invented and people were like, I don't know about shrinking people and putting them in that tiny box. That's sad. That's sadly how a lot of this ignorant AI hate will go down in history.
100%. 100%.
None of us will live to see it, but that's sadly the way they'll kind of looked at being. But that's a different topic altogether. But
maybe we can talk about that later.
When did you get into AI, Navarre? What?
Oh man, that is a great question. I first got into AI when it was in like its infancy in I think it was like 2022 or 23. I think this was like right as ChatGPT first came out. Like people started first talking about ChatGPT. I used it personally to help me write scripts, right? Like I had like things in mind where I wanted to make like videos, things of that nature. So at first I had it write me scripts, right? I was never into like the image generation thing because it wasn't very good back then. Obviously, right? It was very, very bad. People would immediately know what you were using if you like posted pictures and things like that. But yeah, I actually used it first as like an assistant to help me write scripts.
No, not at all. That's one of the first things I did is I went into Unity with it and was like, can you write this, pickup script or just like simple things, just to get it to save time.
It's not too interesting, but go ahead. Keep showing your 3D mode.
I see so many possibilities with AI. It's sad when you see this. Yes, Aquamist. Yes, agreed. All right, onward. Should we do more show and tell or
show and tell?
I get lost. I get to rambling and then I forget the question asked.
More show and tell.
If you have, if there is some line you're following, go ahead.
Let's just show them more.
I love the energy you have with this.
That's what I told him that yesterday.
Thank you.
He's really good at just talking.
It means so much to me. The IP, as it's called, or the lore of it all, really comes from my childhood and how like me and my friends back then were a really tight knit group of friends. We were the nerds, we were the video game people, the LAN party people, and this was back before gaming was cool. Any young people out there listening, there was a time where we had to hide in our mother's basements and bring our huge PCs together, and it was not so mainstream. I come from this time, this ancient era.
It was almost like AI now. Like you felt you had to be ashamed to tell normal people if you were a gamer, especially I guess if you spent a lot of time gaming, was looked at this useless activity that's wasting your time.
And now we create the frontier of technology. It's it's just it's insane. But that's part of where my enthusiasm goes. So this is another one of this is just the main. I actually got this brought together just 2 nights ago. A long running idea I had was, man, how do I even talk about Funkatron? How do I introduce the audience to any of this? And so I kind of just threw caution to the wind and said, what if I made a retro old school TV guide and made it interactable? And so this is what we see here, and we're about to see some more examples of Meshi wrought here in this room. This is actually the main homepage. You can hit T and then scroll through this TV guide that I've made. It's going to have sound. I don't think you can play KPP 101 and listen to the radio. You can listen to me read The Hobbit. I just got done narrating The Hobbit, clone my voice, and
that's
then
cool.
have been narrating the books of my childhood. I just started on Lord of the Rings, so that's really and it's so crazy listening to a AI copy of your voice that's extreme fidelity. It's like listening to a ghost version of you. It's absolutely wild.
Wait,
So
wait,
let's see.
TC, is it okay if
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
interrupt you for 1 second? I just wanted to ask, what made you like want to do like a web browser kind of interactive experience rather than like let's say like a Steam game or something like that, right? Like what
Mm.
sparked your interest of like wanting to do this, just so everybody can maybe dig into your brain a little bit?
I found when trying to share Funkatron through VR chat, it was really, really hard because there is a barrier there. And even in the name VR chat, it implies that you have to have a VR headset. And it's just hard to find, it's hard to find a specific world on that. So it was ease of accessibility before I ramble on too much. Just being able
Facts.
to let users get there and just share Funkatron. And if it's on a web page, in my mind, it may be like 70 years from now, somebody will discover this crazy universe of Funkatron and be like, what the heck? What the heck did this guy in 2026 create? How much depth there is to this? I love one of my favorite pieces of my favorite piece of fiction is the Silmarillion, and I just love how much I love it for why a lot of people hate it. I love how much depth there is and how much breadth there is. It's and to try to create Funkatron in that vein through just modern day tech is really fulfilling to me because then you can just go to this website and be like, what the heck am I even looking at? All these channels you can click on and then some of them are, I created these through Notebook LM, a really underutilized tool. You can read the lore.
I
You
also
can
think there would be like no way for you to expand on lore like in VR chat and stuff like that, right? Like there's no way.
in VR chat as far as the lore goes, you say
As
specifically?
far as like world, as far as like doing everything that you've done here, like there's no way you would have been able to incorporate that into VR chat, would you?
Yes, a lot of these I'm actually going into my Unity projects and pulling out my VR chat worlds section by section,
Oh.
so I don't have to rebuild them in 3.js or just 3D web development.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Um,
sorry. I'll just shut up.
no, no, no,
I'm
but
kidding.
there I can't make them as in depth as since there's no download. You're essentially just downloading everything. There is a download, but there's no, there
Mhm.
there's not like you're not downloading a world like VR chat. I'm limited. There's going to be some limitations in 3.js of what you can do and how but you just kind of
And
you build around it and whatnot.
when you say you pulled it out of your Unity project and ported it to 3.js, I assume that means you give it to a chatbot and say port this to 3.js, or do you use any other fancy tools for that?
To make what exactly? Pardon me.
Well, you said you pull out elements from your Unity projects.
The process of that goes, I go into Unity and I use VLB. It's the most friendly that I've found to do 3D. And pardon me if you already know this. I don't mean to preach to the choir,
Never
as
heard of
my granny would
VLB.
say. Yeah, just export anything in Unity as GLB, and then put that onto my website, and then link that
Oh, you
to.
mean the assets? I
Oh
was
man,
wondering how you port C# to 3.js.
like somebody tell me when that happens. I still use Cyan Trigger in Unity.
Probably try to give that to anti-gravity and tell it, like, port this to 3.js the best you can. But it
Oh,
might be possible, but not it hasn't been like that for long.
so we start this. So we start this screen really close to or we start this page really, my homepage really close to the TV to give the illusion that we're still in a 2D environment. Because then when you're prompted and you get done exploring the TV, you can hit in, and then it's a grand reveal of that you're actually in this 3D space.
I thought it was the burger. That's what it caught my eye. I don't think it is.
Hold on one second. It might be in here actually. 1 second. But anyway, as we search for this meshing model, you can see that this is another part of Funkatron. You can play this arcade over here, which has a game embedded in it, more newspapers and whatnot. But let us go over here 1 second. Let's go over to the okay, yeah. Now we're gonna
Behind the
load a new scene here.
scenes.
Behind the scenes, yeah. All right, now we're yet again in another 3D scene here with many more meshy models present, which you I mean with some lighting and ambiance and an aesthetic, these meshy models just fit right in. I see people, being, some people online being like 3D AI 3D generated assets look like crap, or they're just dogging on them. But I'm like, yeah, what are you trying to do? Are you working on GTA? You working on GTA 7? Like, just build some stuff and try to enjoy life a little bit. Like, use
Literally,
these
dude.
tools to
Literally.
like infuse and uplift your life. Again, to not sound like a broken record, but just building this in creative endeavor for me as an artistic expression, as a long-term artistic expression, using tools like Meshi are just it's just look at this. This is crazy. Oh,
It
we're
looks
about to
like something that AI should mess up.
yeah. We'll go and fly a Zeppelin that I made last night, 3D, around Funkatron here in a second. It's going to be awesome. But let's look at these Meshi models here before we go away. One of my my artistic peak, my creation apex happened one night late when I was working, and I thought of, how are we going to get around Funkatron? Okay, let's build an outhouse with a cannon. So where when you go in, you take care of business, and then you get shot out and you just blast off to your location. I call it the goob gob boom and zoom. But what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Heck no, it's a really unique thing. But with something like Meshi, I can just bam, whip this up, and now we have the goob gob boom and zoom in all its glory. As some of you know, a really cool trick with Meshi to get even better use out of it is to segment your models. I'm seeing a lot of people do that with hair or beards or clothing, maybe. Or so what I did with this podium is I segmented off this top part so I could have better control over how it sits in the environment. And then I chopped it off and then made the other part, the last half of the bottom half of the podium, down at the bottom. So for those of you that are listening and might not understand how to do that, people are always in the Discord chopping it up and sharing how to chop up. I said it twice. Mesh models. This banner hanger, I don't know what to call it. The hanger of a banner, sounds more regal, is a Meshi model. You can actually just vibe code cloth now. I literally went into, I forget what it was, maybe a Gemini, and I said, give me a 3.js HTML that is a cloth banner, and give me a UI so I can upload a public image URL, and we can use that as the skin. And then I went to Gemini and said maybe a normal map of what a banner texture would look at. And so now we have the normal map on it. And then I went to Nano Banana Pro and I said, hey, I've got these dwarves and they love brew. They're called Thunder Brew dwarves. Build me a stein, like a coat of arms that would look like that. It built it. It was too complicated. I said, no, make it minimal, more like like the old school, like 1500s type stuff. And it made that. Bang, plopped it on. You go over here. You hit the magic button. You find the cloth banner. You put your texture right here, your normal map right here. You don't have to ask for wind. You don't have to ask for roughness. When you're vibe coding, as a side note, for people that might be wanting to do something like this, and I encourage just to explore because more people need to be vibe coding. I mean, think of how much crazy stuff's going to be built in the next 2 years. The world's changing so fast, and it sounds so cliche, but I mean, it is, right? All right. I'll see you guys later. Good talking to you.
And that's it. Bye.
Secrets, dude. Yeah. But not so secret, as I'm sure many of you know. But what I'm seeing with Meshi and how I'm getting a lot of use out of it is I'm trying to hit a sweet spot of a late 2000s PC RPG, like almost like World of Warcrafty type stylized, not ultra realistic like Witcher, not pixel, but if you get these bulbous, like stylized, exaggerated lines and shapes, Meshi does a good job at gesturing that, because the gesture of the figure happens at this length. I mean, when in my gameplay or in this scene is my user going to be right here? You know? I mean, whoever zooms up right here and goes, you see the welding right here? You're not going to enjoy Funkatron if you're zooming around looking at models trying to guess the poly count, okay? Or how many vertices are there. It's just... But, I mean, from right here, the kind of bulbous... Like, if I went for a hyper-realistic trunk throughout this wood right here, it would not have... I don't think Meshi would have been utilized as for my usage as much as I could have used it. Here's one of the statues again over here hiding for another mesh. We go on, and here's a little bit about anybody can go to this. This is another interactive spot where you get put in Funkatron at the beginning. Then you can come over here.
I'm gonna put all your links in like the description if that's okay with you.
Here's a dice rolling thing that I've vibe coded. I'm working on a interactive book, as this one is. That's going to be a kind of a choose your own adventure. Old Goosebumps style choose your own adventure, but you're going to be using dice to kind of determine your outcome instead of being like turn to page 22 if you want to blah 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 blah. You'll be able to throw these dice, and I'm going to try to make some of these dice with Meshi and see how that goes. This is just simple geometry. Oh, the dwarven candle is Meshi as well. Over here is an interactive book where you kind of get to create a character of Funkatron. Since I don't have like an actual 3D character creator yet, this is like a long Patronus test where you get your proclivity, your hometown, where you currently are at, your race, your specialty or class. And then once you get that, you sort of have a character and a place in the world. And then you're like, okay, where's my homeland? Hopefully that kind of gets the user to want to go explore our next tool, the Flight Forge, where you'll be able to go around Funkatron.
That was a good segue.
Thank you. I used to stream a whole lot. I'm going to bring that back, though. And I don't stream video games. I just stream Funkatron stuff where I'm like, all things Funkatron we're exploring.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a full-on RP. It's like D&D without the D&D part.
The D&D part.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just me acting crazy on Funkatron. I don't know.
I'm just chatting. I'm just chatting.
With an insane I don't know what to stream under. Anyway. Okay, let's go over here. Funkatron is a huge map. This is a 26,000 by 16,000 pixel map that I've built over the years. We're about to fly around on it. Yonder. So this is a 2D, right, Zeppelin, looking cool as we're flying around. But then I thought just the other night, I was like, yo, we're about to go on Meshi Podcast. Why don't I just feed Meshi this image and see what happens? Let's go check it out real quick. Here we go. This is not only showcasing Funkatron, but for world creators or creative people out there, if you have a map and you want to fly around your own map, you can upload your own map to this as well. Look at this vibe-coded cloud shader. The fog of war.
Clouds, yeah, amazing.
Oh my god! I just asked. Nice. One day I just asked Gemini. I was like, I was using this. You can switch over to a more traditional retro, completely black fog of war. But then I thought, like, how can I make it look a little bit, more? I don't know, whatever. Okay, so the Meshi is of course gonna be right here. Yes, excellent. Look at this.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh! Holy. Isn't this like okay? This might not be impressive to some elite game developers out there. This might be like a child playing with Play-Doh. But man, for me, where I've come from in my own personal journey of growing up in the woods, not really have no one in my family or anything that I was around was into this at all. I really had to go out and teach myself this, as many of us have. But so that being said, this still blows my mind that we can do this. And there's tools out there like Meshi that you can create. I mean, look at this. This is crazy. Huh. Anyway, so
you made
the Flight
steam
Forge
engine out of the Play-Doh.
Yeah. That's a lot of how I build these. I'm finding that you see these parameters of control over here, is that I'm realizing I'm vibe coding bits of Unity and Unreal that I need in real time, and then just throwing them away when I don't need them, because I can just build them instantly or just keep them, and form one mega tool as I go forward. Isn't that strange?
I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yes, the Zeppelin.
I love that.
Excellent.
Now hold shift to go. I'm kidding. Hold shift to go
Mm.
faster.
Oh yes, well yes, you can. You can over here control your. I mean, look at this: yaw, offset, perspective, tilt, movement,
Holy.
pitch, animation speed. There should be a speed somewhere over here. We go top speed. Now we can zoom.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I used a lot of AI to help me build this map out as well in a very cheeky way. I started, like I said, on the building a free incarnate map, and then took that in and was like, oh, I can expand it indefinitely in Photoshop as I create different parts of it. So yeah, the Zeppelin, and this is the, like I said, I made this Zeppelin model just last night,
That's
I think it
nice.
was, or 2 nights ago. And this model, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going down over there, Meshi, but I mean, this is freaking awesome.
This one's cooking. Yeah.
Yeah. And it might sound like I'm glazing Meshi and whatnot, and I am to an extent, but I just like
There's nothing wrong.
I just want y'all to know that it's genuine glaze,
Yeah.
brother.
Wait. So you're
I
saying
really
you
mean what I
weren't put
say.
up to this by force?
No, someone's got a fork in my back right now.
You're saying there's not a gun pointed to
Oh,
the back of your head right now, and you truly love
oh my God.
Messi?
I love Meshi. Yes, please,
Please let me go.
just let me see my family. No, well, let me catch up on the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anybody in the chat over here. Yes, yes, yes. All right, cool. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, this Zeppelin model, I really, you could even put, characters on this. I thought about like how cool would it be to have actual, like, you know, animated characters that I could use my Meshi characters to animate on the deck of that.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions so far, or should we continue?
Continue.
Let's go.
There's gonna be a point where I'm gonna, like, after you're done showcasing what you want to showcase,
Yeah,
I'll just bring up some people if they want to come up and ask you some questions.
yeah, and interrupt me at any time as I ramble on. I
Oh no, ramble, ramble,
let's go.
ramble,
Yes.
please.
Oh yeah, here's the 2D. You can see the comparison there with the
Hey,
3D model looking
the 2D still
primo.
looks nice. The 2D still has like
Yeah,
niceness to it. Yeah.
and it's great for just the choice to give the because now that not a lot of people, but I guess a couple thousand people have used these tools that I've created over the last year, and it's good to give them the freedom of choice if they want to remain 2D or they want to do the like 2.5D type
It's
thing.
interesting. I
Um,
think the 2D one looks way better in context with the map, like the other one calls for a 3D map. But
mm-hmm,
for the dragon, it works well. I wonder why that is.
mm, mm.
The dragon looks
Oh,
amazing, at least at the distance you showed it. Can you? I
the
mean,
drag.
I'm curious how did you animate that? Yeah, there was a dragon somewhere on the map, flapping its wings. Or was that the
Oh,
previous
yes.
thing you showed?
Yeah, that's not that's just a free model I found on the graveyard of
I
the
see.
free internet assets. There's for those that want to kind of just homebrew your own game and are not looking to really, not looking to make a business out of it, but it's not my I create Funkatron from within, so I'm not like, okay, do I need to watch out for, how do I make money doing this? For those that are wanting to get into making your own, type 3D experience, not only can you use Meshi, but there's just so many, free 3D models that people are making now. The world is really, really big, and there's a lot of 3D assets out there that are just on the floor that no one will ever use.
TC, before you show the treehouse, what would you say? I just want to ask you this because I'm curious. But what would you say would be like a is there a dream project you're working towards like right now? Or I mean, besides this, I know this is like your baby, but I'm like, is there like something else? I guess that you are putting your endeavors in.
Yeah, I'm aiming toward a World of Warcraft MMORPG, Dark Ages of Camelot, EverQuest type huge world. I mean, they say the cliche is build the games you want to play, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But I'm just aiming so high that
Okay.
I'm almost secretly hoping I never accomplish everything because then I'll be really depressed. I want to work on this for the rest of my life. and really build a huge world of Funkatron with the extreme character development, lore development, intertwined stories. So, I mean, imagining a world where I could go and create a class on Funkatron, and then but it be in 3D, like a World of Warcraft type experience, and play with other people and have quests and write stories and just. I mean, you can see what the world of what the Warcraft IP has done. They're going to work
Yeah,
on that game, until they
the
don't
end
make
of
any more
time,
money. Exactly,
pretty
exactly.
much.
But and that's where somewhere like World of Warcraft or a big company like that and I would differ. Is they would stop when the money dries up, but something like Funkatron. So this is something that I can work on for the rest of my life. It's very important to me to hold close
Good.
and fast and clear my goals and what success is in my mind so I can continue on and just keep having fun and keep being fulfilled.
Good. Don't ever. I'll say don't ever let that passion die out. Always keep that because yeah, like
Yeah.
that's like poetic, to like want to do something, especially nowadays with like there's so many creative people out there. In my opinion, there's so many creative people out there. They're just like not given the right tools, and I think with like what you're doing and things like that, we're finally there's so many tools out there nowadays that allow people to be creative as you are with like your story, your world building, your lore, all that stuff. Because like, man, I wish I could do something like this, but I'm too much of a Neanderthal that I can't like come up with like stuff like this. I'll play it, damn right, I'll play it, but I
Oh.
can't come up with stuff like this. Like this is I that's the one thing I was not given grace with in life. But I
Mm.
kudos for sure. I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah,
It's
the way you said that, like that you're paraphrasing it, that you're making it without money.
thank you for the
Just
kind words.
keep on doing this just the way you described it. It's perfect.
Yeah, right on. Thanks. That's another thing that drives me is I can remember growing up and playing video games and playing them through that a young mind and not knowing really where the video game ended. I didn't realize that it was, occlusion and, atmosphere and volumetric shading and volumetric, I didn't realize what I do now. And back then, the video games felt like because I could not feel the walls were infinite in my mind, and there was that sort of like what else is out there. It's not the game that I was playing, but the shadow that the game was illuminating. And that is what I tried to build Funkatron with, as you never know exactly how deep the lore will go. You might find yourself on one of these wacky web web experiences, but it links you somewhere else that ties you to something that you might not. I really like building out an in-depth world like that. And like you were saying, yeah, I'm very passionate about this. That's what's epic to me is to build in the face of games that might be being made through ill intent or through profit. I can still blaze into the night working on something through Funkatron and keep my passion and my ideals and tenets and my axioms sound and not become the thing that I loathe in gaming. I get fired up just talking about it right now. I'm ready to crap my dog. I'm so passionate about this. And thanks again for letting me share it today because
Oh,
it's
thank
really
you.
hard to social media and the algorithm stuff like this, and I don't have much of a following there or anywhere really. So anytime I get the opportunity to share bits of this and maybe share passion, it's really a pleasure. Yeah, yeah. Let me pull up this tree house
Yeah,
here.
go ahead, go ahead. Sorry for the
Well,
interruption.
then I don't think there's any bad weather right now, so there's not. I wouldn't be able to show it, but I actually made a vibe code. I vibe coded my own weather app, and because the Earth, the Doppler radar, there are public APIs for this, so you can just call it and put it in your own tool. And I used Meshi to make a tornado model and a lightning model, and those appear over the tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings that get put out. And I was like, it's like what? Now I can just make my own weather app? Insane. Here we go. Now we're cooking. Okay, you see the old school TV. This is an example of something that I built out in VR chat. This is the beginning of one of the levels. My VR chat worlds are not your usual VR chat worlds. For those that might be familiar with it, if you go into my VR chat worlds, they're going to be extremely in depth and like their own video game. There's quests, NPCs, levels. It's very, very intense. So this is one of the places that I've brought to life through Unity, but now I can bring in my Meshy models. Check it out. Here's Captain TC Poole. That's me. The stone statue.
That's so
And
bad.
here's Scarlet, my wife. But my computer my computer AI that runs the TC. But I mean, these stone statues, do you see? I hope those that are watching see what I mean when I was referencing that sort of stylized late 2000s sort of World of Warcrafty vibe. These stone statues, I don't think I don't think it would gesture. You would be able to see more imperfections that might take away the gesture, but this sort of stylized aesthetic, man, Meshy executes that very excellently. And this is with no normal map. No, but you can see with the lighting and the placement and whatnot. Here's the statue. Here's the card game that I was talking about. It's called Attack TC. It's like our own Magic the Gathering, but involving all of our own characters. I say R because it's just my own small little community that I built over the years.
Mink
Since
Dinkle
20
Yoinkle. I love that name.
Yes, Mink Dinkle, Yoinkle Be Rider. The Mink Dinks are the gnomes of Funkatron. He rides the wind. He rides the bee. He rides the line between bravery and brain damage. But one of these is supposed to... Yeah, I have them auto-rotating here. Yoinkleberry bread. Delicious. But this is like a hidden spot in the treehouse. It's an unsuspecting card, but it's going to rotate through at random all 230 of the cards. There's a cat lady meta in the game where you can choose your cat lady hero and all the cat cards.
Kringle Wolf, that one's badass.
A Kringle Wolf, a Wormkin cultist. What about this one though? The Big Mama Bruiser.
Big Mama Bruiser.
Look out. Look out. She brought muffins, they brought regrets. Boom, hit the sound effect. Fa! Or whatever.
Yeah.
Over here, oh man, back in 2022, I think I had this idea, or 2021 maybe. I was like, man, one day I'm going to be able to make my own like Harry Potter living portraits. And just last week, I was able to figure out a way to bring this to life, which is me, my mug. Back before the aging process of space-time travel, I was once a handsome knight.
Oh, stop.
And now I am the creature you see before you.
So poorly.
Look away.
I'm an old man.
But the frame is a meshy frame. I kind of collapsed it a little bit, but with
pretty.
the hops and the barley around here, these over here, this corner looks...
This is my favorite corner right here.
Oh, la la. Oh, yeah. I was showing you this. The frames right here with Dinkelheimer, Nibblesworth, Scarlet, but the frames just really set it off. I could have used... Did I keep a regular frame? I could have used a regular frame like this, yes? But that's not Funkatron. That's like that. That's every frame ever. Every frame you've ever seen looks like this, yes? But then if I wanted a custom mushroom frame with a wizard hat and like a crazy skull thing here, where else am I going to get that? Because I'm not going to build that in Blender. Very few people can whip that up in an efficient amount of time when trying to just build out worlds like this. Because again, I'm not in it for like I'm not trying to learn Blender for the sake of the craft of Blender. I'm not a purist like that. I only learn to get results. Like I look at a problem I need solved and I solve it. And I don't really bother with for better or worse, the underlying principles of whatnot. And I took a picture of it and then I gave it to Nano Banana and I said, make this look like a stylized 3D video game model to sort of, go with that gesture and that stylized effect that I like. And then gave it to Meshy, and it made the freaking and the wand. I don't have my webcam right now, but the wand looked exactly like it's intense. Here's another Meshy statue right here. Here's the Daily Brel.
I love that.
Bean Cream Overlord declares free frosting day. Pandemonium at bakeries. The Daily Brel, I actually printed these all real like books. Like I have them sitting on my bookshelves. These are the Daily Brel helps me with Funkatron exposition and telling the wacky story of it all and creating the vibe and the setting of it. But it's also like back in that long ago time called the 90s, it seemed that every dad had a like joke book, a cheesy joke book by the toilet because there was no like a lot of young people don't realize they weren't smart. Like when you went to the to the bathroom, there was no smartphone to take with you. So there were this basket full of books and stuff. And a lot of them were cheesy. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
These cheesy joke books. And so the Daily Braille is my kind of ode to that. But it helps.
I feel like this aesthetic has been lost in time. Like it's rare to see like the like wow slash 90s 80s aesthetic. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. This is like my cup of tea right here. I like it.
I think this really shines where it's a bit more intricate than WoW.
Imagine walking into somebody's house and seeing those frames instead of those like traditional frames. If you see somebody's house like this, I would immediately think they're like some freaking adventurer or something. Like they went out and they found that in like a cave, or they crafted it from like an old blacksmith or something, or whoever makes frames, framesmith.
Right. And even you can see the wood grain right here if you see my cursor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you can even see the wood grain through here, the degradation on the corners that would naturally happen to the iron or the metal here. Here's the mythical book once more. This is so when I love to frequent coffee shops and start my day this way. And so when I get up to use the restroom at the coffee shop or get up for whatever reason, I pull up this nonsense code that I made and leave it on my computer, so people are like, what is, like, if they look at my laptop screen, because this is just nonsense.
That is so
but look, it's just
I love it.
let Funkatronian bean water equal Captain Poole a pool mug, function phone.
Booty shake thrusters. The layout that you have here, is this, how did you come up with this? Is this like something you've always wanted? Is this like, would this be like your dream treehouse? I mean, it'd be my dream treehouse. It looks fucking badass.
Yeah, I've always loved not a treehouse for treehouse's sake or anything, but rather the feeling I had young in a treehouse. It felt like climbing up onto the top bunk. There was just something cozy and safe and hidden and tucked away, and it just felt like none of the world's troubles could reach me if I was in a treehouse. And this is what I'm going for here. And that's sort of why I brought it to life in VR chat originally through Unity. And I needed a place to start the quest. In VR chat, the world is built out. You drop down into the forest, complete the quest. You go up this huge mountain over here to a tavern. And the tavern is sort of the quest reward, because the tavern is a very, very intricate, big, sprawling tavern that I built out. That's like oh man, you climbed a mountain, traversed the forest, completed the quest, got through this danger, and then you're like in this tavern up at the top. So the treehouse is where we're starting. And as I build it out, I always try to build from tenets and keep those coals, those axioms hot in my mind, such as, does the player know where they are? Does the player know that they're in a treehouse? How do you tell more of Funkatron without being overly exposition? Like the superhero movies that just tell you this in your face exposition for no other reason, because they really disrespect the audience's intellect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I try to build Funkatron where there's just taste and there's style to it, where you learn about Funkatron naturally. So this is where the treehouse came in, and then I have to think about does it run well? Like, how much do I want it to optimize? Because you can see we're not getting too great of frames, but then again, I don't really care. So it's like, if it works,
that's something that can be like refined. Like this is like.
Yes, exactly. Yes, staying in the creative mindset is, for me, is a much more rewarding and more difficult experience than the monotony of optimization.
Agreed.
Let's see the chat here. Am I missing anything? Gimli forged the metal. What are you talking about over here?
Saying that they like it. They like the style.
Oh, cool. Treehouses are awesome. I build them in every sandbox game. Yes, Aqua. Yes, Aquamist understands the
need for treehouses.
Yeah. Here's the globe, like taking the idea of a globe and putting it in with your own map on it. A trivial idea, I know, but here it is. Here it is again. Here's some of the books. These are actually interactable, so you can read. Created this book 2 years ago, I think.
Actual text. It's not just gibberish.
Yeah. This is an entire story. Look, somebody's getting buck fever, brother. It's so crazy to bring this light. And I'm just one person. I'm just one dude that really doesn't know much. I'm still a novice in this. I'm in my my sophomore season of this. And this is just one person. Think of how many people in time something like this would have taken just 2 years ago. Because if I can do this, think about somebody that's been, in this world of 3D dev could do, and like, here's some more of the.
Or you with 3 more years of experience and even better tools.
I'm excited for for what I can be able to bring out in Funkatron and what's going to come for that, because I'm only just developing more and more momentum, gaining more skills as I go along. I love to work insane hours and just kind of give myself over to my work. I learn pretty quick and super, super passionate. So who knows where Funkatron will be. I didn't know I was going to be able to build this year. That's for sure. I was still just 2 months ago. I was like, man, I hope I can bring my Unity worlds from VR Chat into 3D web and not have to just, forsake all that work, or just, not waste it, but just leave it aside. But now here I am porting, getting my GLBs and scenes from Unity and putting them straight into a 3D web scene.
What is this?
This is going to be a timeline builder. But I have to first find the timeline builder. Here we go.
Like
Bang,
GIF,
bang.
gnome GIF.
Yeah,
So
I
how
made
many
these.
years of history does your world have? How many tens, thousands of years?
60,000. But there's 3 ages. There's a lot of tip of the hat to Tolkien, and I take a lot of. So there's 3 ages of Funkatron, and we're currently in the 3rd. The whole story of Funkatron exists around one evil villain named Beth Jesus, who is in search for eternal life through. This is a total original name, okay? Completely fiction for all intents and purposes. Beth Jesus is in search of galactic relics, which these god-like things, these angels created, him being one of them, but he's a fallen angel. Beth! And he's in search of these galactic relics for control of the universe. And the last one exists on Funkatron, a planet that has forsaken or has done away with technological advances and remains magical. But let's look at more on that later. Here's a whole timeline that we can build. Right. So just last night, I was adding some books here from Meshi to the timeline, 3D timeline builder. This is for people that are making their own lore, their own story. You can scroll through here and click on the books as you go through. I try to make this shader look like Interstellar, like the what do they call it? For those that have seen Interstellar, the movie might know what I mean when I reference the shader. But you can set up all these books along the timeline, customize the aesthetic of it, the particles, the glow, the thises and that's. And you can add these books. One of the Meshi models is raw air, and we're going to do it raw air and hope it loads in. Oh, bang. And look, and if I must say, I was loading these Meshi models in last night, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, these models look better than... Look, where did it go? We're back here. Look better than the other models that I have, just the free book models. This Meshi book model looks much more intricate. I needed a place to put my lore, and so I was like, man, why don't I just create my own 3D, try to vibe code my own 3D timeline builder. I didn't really spend too much time on this tool because you can vibe code so fast these days.
What's your vibe coding tool of choice?
I use ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, and Grok.
Oh, okay. So you're just a mix of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. Yes, here's the Meshi book model. I got the controls for a second.
There it is.
But look at this book. This book looks. Oh my gosh.
It fits the theme.
Oh my gosh. When we can make when we can auto-generate emissive maps from Meshi models, oh Lord, sweet Lord help me. That's going to be awesome. But just look at this book, which is the Meshi model, and compare it to, say, this book. I mean, the Meshi model is just, for me and my aesthetic, here's what I guess I'm getting at, is through a tool like Meshi, you can create and develop your own style and not have to worry about buying, or creating your own assets through and trying to come up with your own style through a tool like Blender. Or you can just take these and refine them, and so much easier for your world to have an identity through style. And I really like that about the customization of it.
It's really cool. I do like it. It fits a lot better than the other one. I have to agree.
Yes. And some of the other ones I have multiple. For those that want to know more about Funkatron lore, there's lots of animated videos on and dive into that insane world. One thing that you can do actually through that retro guide I forgot to mention is that you can use any of those tools that we were looking at the Meshi models with inside of that TV, directly in the TV, which sounds crazy because it is crazy. Because I'm crazy. No, let's see if we can. Here's an old stream that plays up here.
I
I
like it. I
made
like it. I was watching that the whole time whenever you had it on here.
these are all old retro TV weather channel, but all Funkatron, like they're all Funkatron themed.
Yeah.
These are just kind words that people have said over the years, but anyway, so these are the kind words.
Nice.
But anyway, let's go over here just real quick and see if we can't find. There's the Loom, the Genesis.
Would you
the
play
Boomings.
music on your streams?
Yeah, when I first started playing, it was me playing guitar and various other instruments. I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I have several albums out. I played all the instruments on all my albums. And,
is that how you would? I'm sorry. Is that how you would have your stream set up, like just like that in the video?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like this is
that is so
let's
cool.
see. Oh, no, this is the beginning.
In the end, the way you have like
Yeah.
was that like a green screen or something?
Yeah, I put myself in my 3D worlds through
It's
cheeky.
giving. Have you seen CoffeeZilla?
Yes, yeah.
It's just like it's like that creativity. Like it's giving that. Yours has a lot more, but it's giving that, and I was like, that's so cool.
I didn't realize that. I didn't. So here, the quality is embedded and not so good here, but let's see if we can make it just a little bit better. Yeah, this is like just an OBS scene and me playing guitar in front of on a screen. That's me.
Dude, you're famous. Holy.
Yes, look at all these people. Yes, but yeah, so I perform live music. That's sort of the funk of Funkatron, where how it's musically themed.
Dude, like how did you like the whole like scene changes, transitions?
KPP 101.
Damn.
This is the AI animate. I made my like an anime intro for the show or for the stream show thing, and
Japanese retro anime style.
Okay, so you generate your AI image, then you take it to a video, an image to video, anyone that you want really. I personally use Grok right now because for me it's the best. And when I say it's the best, of course it's my own personal needs.
Experience and opinion.
Correct, yeah. My endeavors and what it does for me. It might not be the best for everyone. Then I say, I give it a prompt, make the man's cloak wave in the wind and have him talking, standing still. I go a few generations of that. Then I get one that I like where he's not moving so I can create continuous looping. Then I take that video to After Effects or Premiere Pro. I put that in. Then I get his mouth and I splice it. I erase everything but the moving mouth and the cape moving. Oh no, I kept the video of him moving, and then yes, that's what I did. I screenshotted his mouth closed, and then I put the closed mouth over his. So now we have one video of him talking like this, just endlessly. That's not hooked up to my mic. Okay. Then I have a PNG that's just the mouth closed. And through OBS, then you can use plugins and software to have a certain video or image show when a decibel of an audio input has reached a certain threshold.
Exactly.
And so what that is going to do is then it's going to, whenever I'm talking to my microphone, it's going to hide his picture of the mouth closed, which is laid on top exactly, layered on top exactly. So that doesn't it's not offset any. So the viewer does not see and is not aware of the two things. So then after a certain amount of milliseconds, when it's not picking up my microphone audio, it will show permanently the mouth closed. Is this making sense?
Yeah, it's funny because the way you're explaining it sounds complex, but I know it's like it's not.
Yeah, right. If you're in that world and know the prerequisites, it's not too complicated.
That's a cool PNG.
Isn't that like people spend so much money on VTuber models, and look at what I'm doing here. I don't have any experience in VTubing. I was just like, how can I make an anime? I like Cowboy Bebop. I like Samurai Champloo. I like Berserk.
I see the Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Love the Cowboy Bebop. But yeah, this is an old stream that plays. This is a soundboard that I vibe coded for Dungeon Masters. where they can put in their own sound effects and blend them in easily. All the songs I've generated through AI, the sound effects.
So
Yeah, this is all
this
so the
whole
stream.
3 hour long video was this is just like a stream replay, right? Like this is actually like you being
Mhm.
live, right? Like this is
Yeah,
how it
I
was
run
whenever you.
multiple. Yeah, I run multiple PCs and multiple copies of OBS to trigger everything live, and
Yeah.
it's a kind of a meta video game for me.
I
This
could
is
see it's
a loop.
it's like super intrusive. No,
Yeah.
that's not the right word. Intuitive. I don't know why I said intrusive.
Mm.
Intuitive. It's super intuitive. It's intrusive. Get
Uh,
out of my body.
Here is more of the stream. Here's another. You can just endlessly, once you know the
Once you
technique,
know it, yeah. Jeez.
you can do a lot of the VTuber thing. I've done it for this character as well,
Mhm.
who's like the news anchor or whatnot.
Like
What
this
else is
looks
going on in the stream?
I know this is our time. I don't want to age myself, but you remember the show Space Cowboy? I think this was called
Space Ghost?
Space Ghost. There it is. Space Cowboy. Space Ghost.
Yes,
Yeah.
I knew where you were going
It's
with it.
giving
Yeah.
Space Ghost and I like it, and that show was so ahead of its
Oh,
time.
I love the absurdist type Space Ghost late night host type of
Yeah.
feel. I even have I have a studio set too that I built in 3D like in VR chat. It's
Uh-huh.
called Studio Pool, where I host like I have the intro, oh my God.
It
Yeah.
is so good. It's giving that like it's like this looks like it's ahead of its time too.
Yeah. It's super fun to me. I mean, I get about 2 viewers and
That's
no love
crazy.
from the algorithm, but when you're doing it from a place where you're not
Passion.
success is not defined upon how many eyes see me, rather the
Exactly.
doing, then I mean I'm having the time of my life. And anybody that says I hope you eventually make it, I understand that sentiment, and I get told
Mhm.
that, and I understand where that comes from. But just know that we're already making it, baby.
Yeah.
It's empowering. It improves other areas of my life where it makes my feet feel more planted on the ground. Like I know more about myself. It's creating worlds like this and stories is a really inward process as much as it is creating outwardly.
Like look at how insane this is. This is a 3 hour long video with just like it just constant
Yeah.
edits and stuff, constant video
Oh man,
manipulation. It's so cool, dude. So cool.
that was crazy. I create my own little commercials to help, tell about the
Yeah.
world of Funkatron and the Sunset Ride.
This is the true definition of doing it for the love of the game because this
Yes,
is
right.
really it.
Yes, yes. I mean, people might not be into the Funkatron aesthetic, but if I'm one thing, I am authentic. What I am going through this world with all of my might, trying to be myself and just trying to be authentic in a world of inauthenticity. Can't
Mhm.
tell if your social media posts that you see are written by an LLM or just somebody that's trying to farm your engagement, that asks questions that they don't really want the answer to. They just want you, share your work here. And they just
Mhm.
want, like, in a world full of that, I try to be that burning light, that burning lamp in the darkness that is, that is Funkatron. Does anybody recognize this game? Sunset Riders? It's an old game.
I've never heard of this.
Ancient. This is Nibblesworth. He powers the entire TC Falcon as he eats and runs on the ball. Anyway, we could. Here's one of those dragons you might
we
have been
could
talking.
analyze this for hours. Literally.
Yeah. I did an
Oh.
Inuyasha
Oh, you
Inuyasha music video of remember the outro?
the outros, dude? Yes.
Oh my gosh, I
At
made
like
a
2, 3 in
AI
the morning.
Suno version of that. This AI Suno version of this song is absolutely incredible. I don't have the audio piped in, but
That's okay.
it's so over the top. But yes, Funkatron, yes, dragons, Aquamist, yes, the dragons. So many of these.
Oh,
This one doesn't
I'm
have
looking
any
at the chat.
mission.
Looks like the dude from Fist of the North Star. That is so true. It does look like it.
I'm
Do you
about
see
to screenshot. I'm about to screenshot that and like print it out and hang. That's probably the nicest thing that anyone's ever said about me, dude. If I look like Hokuto Kenshin, then I've done something. Yes, the Fist of the North Star. What a great anime. Yes, these are little notes from my actual notebook that I write in, and so I put them into like as the texture on this
Oh,
mesh.
damn.
So it's my own actual handwriting
Yeah.
and notes from over the years. Like when I have an idea, I'm like Chuck
You write that
Mangione.
down.
I love names and I love a funny name. And every time I think of a funny name, I got to write that. But alas, this is just a weird way to, I don't know, it's a weird, like dabbling in, if the internet exists infinitely, this is like a way to encase yourself
Literally
in
cementing yourself forever.
immortality. Like, yeah, oh my God, this is crazy. Oh, and the less people that view it, I try to take, as I don't have much of an audience. See, I put in a lot of work, and the sentiment over the years, some of these kind words say, how haven't more people seen this? The less people that see this, the more treehousey it feels. Like this is like a secret hidden gem on the internet. Like I'm trying to think of something I've found like back in the late 2000s, early 2000s on the internet, where you a forum with some video game cheats or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, cheats for Tomb Raider or whatever. Cheats being like single player console games. Cheating in games for the younger audience wasn't all looked upon as like hacking, or because these games are just single player, like old SNES, Sega Genesis type game. But as I drone on, yes. So even though I don't have a big audience quite yet. Even though we're small, it makes it feel even more cozy.
Cozy, yeah. No, I agree 100%. TC, thank you so much for showing us everything, man. If anybody wants to come up on stage and talk to TC, ask him a question or two, just so we wrap up this beautiful presentation of Funkatron. So if anybody wants to come up, that is here, just request to speak, and I'll bring you guys up. I'll give it like a minute or two if you want to yap for like a minute or two while we just wait.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question, Navarre and Jera? When did y'all get involved in Meshi? How did you and Meshi meet? I mentioned how I saw you guys on Twitter, and that was my introduction.
Yeah, I can answer first. I got introduced to them by actually finding out about them through a job posting back in like December, November, I can't remember exactly. And then I was like, because it was like for a community job, and I was like, okay, or community intern. I was like, this sounds interesting, because I've always been super into like community and stuff like that, community building and helping companies grow and things like that, and being part of their communities. So I was like, yeah, let me do it. And then I was like looking into Meshi, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I love AI stuff, so I was like, okay, AI, 3D. I was like, that's cool. It's like a specific world, like a niche world kind of like people, of like creators that like using it and stuff like that. But I didn't like delve too much into it. I just like applied. I talked to Axie about it and stuff like that, and eventually I got it. And then right after I got it is where I started to step into the world of Meshi and kind of see what it has in store. And it's been crazy. Like 3 months that I've been here, part of this community, has been insane, because I've learned stuff that I never thought I would learn ever, or would never think I need to learn ever. But yeah, it's a group of a lot of smart people here, and a lot of smart folk that do a lot of cool stuff with Meshi, surprisingly.
So when I got into the Meshi Discord, I was in the process of like, I'm an aspiring game dev. I never finished anything, but I would like to. And I have big dreams about big worlds with lots of lore, with much less to show for it than you do. I spent years like tinkering and learning Unity, basically, and trying to make my stuff real. And like one day I was working on this version of a game about one of my worlds, and it's like crappily hand-drawn sprites on a grid. And I don't exactly know how, but I stumbled upon Midjourney, and that was the first I heard of generative AI. It was pretty early in the Midjourney thing, like version 3 or something. And I got super into that, like tried out the first super crappy image generation thingies to see if I could make game art. Because I made music and I code, but I can't do visual art in any form, like by hand, or I can use GIMP, but I'm not good. And so that got me into talking to people on Discord, basically, because the Midjourney Discord was pretty interesting. Was this early community of people that are into this stuff, and obviously a lot of creatives too. And the creatives that weren't the ones saying, "Oh no, it's gonna take my job," or all the bad stuff people say. So that got me into Discord and communities. So I looked for a few more, and that got me into Meshy. And I mostly was a lurker, or at least chatter, and hung around in the earliest of these meetings. And one day, Axinovium was like, "Hey Tara, what's your story? Do you want to come on stage and tell us stuff?" And I came every week, and so yeah, got into this community, which is the same but a bit more tight-knit, I guess. Like in the Midjourney server, I'm just mostly invisible because there's so many people there. And here I feel like I can develop more of a relationship to the others and their projects, especially. I think it's like every single one of these meetings, someone shows a new workflow, a new way to combine the tools, and I love spending my time like that, like staying on top of the stuff and trying to think about what's possible. Because I really want to make stuff that's kind of too big for one person, or at least it was 2 years ago. And that's shifting rapidly, and I'm trying to be at the forefront of that, I guess. There's also a lot of interesting philosophy around it. As you said, like getting into the ethics and stuff you can spend hours doing that as well. Like I'm not 100% positive about everything AI. I'm skeptical as well. But man, when I see stuff like what you make, this is so good.
Oh, thank you.
Just for people that, yeah, have big dreams and try to realize them within a lifetime and without a like huge budget.
Right. Yes. Yes. My budget is a couple of coins and some lint in my pocket right now.
I'll take a lint.
This is talking about old AI. This was published in July 23.
Damn,
and this was back when AI looked like this.
Oh yeah, it
Remember
was
when
like slowly generating every second, right? Like it would generate.
Yes, yes, and it was like it looked like an acid trip or something.
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
you're on
That's what
mushrooms.
it
Like,
used to
look
look
at this
like.
crazy.
Yup. The acid trip AI transformations.
But even back then, I was like, when I made this, I mean, I look at it now and it's not so impressive, but in the moment, it was like, oh my gosh, it's the world is changing.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you could feel where we are now coming really, really quickly just by making this stuff. It's wild to me that more people couldn't see it back then when this was happening. They would see stuff like this and be like, oh, look at
The slop.
thing.
Look how bad. And me too. I looked at it and I thought, man, I mean, of course it's bad, but look at how good it already is and what this can do in a year and evolve even faster than we all hoped for.
Like literally, you
And
just
then you
said this
go-
was like 3 years ago, right? Like almost 3 years ago. And look at that.
Yeah.
3 years is like nothing when you really think about it.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely wild.
I also
But I
like
have
the
to
little
say,
video. I
also
like the
you
little video you
utilized
had.
it well. You leaned into it in a way that makes it look pretty intentional, I think.
Thanks. Yeah. A lot of, with the topic of AI and how much control of expressivity one has over their creations are questions we all have to ask ourselves as we create anything, of how much control over the expressivity do we want and how much do we have at any given time. Me being a musician, we have been in this world of quote unquote stolen valor, if you will, for long before the AI boom was ever. There's long been dissension between DJs and musicians. Musicians looking at DJs like you just press play and you get on stage, and DJs saying, no, there's a lot of stuff that you don't see offline. And yes, we might just stage and press play, some of us, but we do
And then
all this stuff in the
sampling and
DAW. Yes, and it's like, and both sides don't see one another, because both sides as far as the passionate people are still working with all of their might and all of their heart and all of their brain power. Whether you're operating late night in a DAW for hours and weeks and months and then debuting a track as a DJ, or you're a trained cellist who is performing with a symphony orchestra, if you control the I like to say it like this: the more parameters of expressivity you give away to automation, the less expressivity or you you have in your work. And it's really not indicative or intrinsic, rather, of the tools that we use at any given time in civilization, but rather the disposition of how much you want to take control and how much you want to express and how much you put intent into your work. As I build Funkatron out with using AI, I challenge any of the AI naysayers to say that I'm not working hard and using maximum brain. Because, man, I wake up every day and really try hard at it and get the most out of life. I want to end my life with an empty gas tank, as the cliche goes, you know?
Damn, that's literally deep.
Yeah. This is what I mainly do on stream. I just go around Funkatron and,
Talk.
hype myself up. Yeah.
Hype
Because
myself
as I say these words, not only do you all, the audience, hear them, but I am also speaking this into myself. Every little bit of positive speech I tell either myself or anyone, I inevitably hear, and that's that internal monologue. In this case, it's external, but I'm still hearing it, and I'm like, I'm firing myself up. As y'all know, Tara, you say you're much like me, a one-person show, kind of doing out there on your own. You know those late nights where you're like, man, you have the doubts. Is it worth it? Am I wasting my time? What could I else have been? I mean, the myriad of the infinite possibilities of doubt that creeps in our head. I love pumping myself up and pumping up others too. There's a lot of AI hate for us out there. We gotta band together.
100%. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I think this marks the end of our journey today. Looks like nobody wants to come up, but that's good. TC, thank you so much, dude. Seriously appreciate you like coming on and sharing your world building, all this beautiful Funkatron stuff you've been working on. I think we can all agree that it's like inspiring to see how creators are pushing like boundaries across so many different mediums. And I'd like to add that for everyone that's watching or listening, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check out TC Poole and everything he's building. We'll have his links down below in the description so you can dive deeper into his work. And as always, if you're into AI, 3D creation, or the future of digital worlds, things like that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the Mesh Up podcast for more conversations and more showcases just like this one. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, TC, again, and thank you, everybody in the audience. Yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.